I'm filling in for Greg today. Greg's over doing his own little hot mess stuff over getting some scans and stuff done so he can update all of you guys. But you will have me today, and I'm joined by Miranda Oh. So, hey, Miranda, how are you?
I'm fantastic. And yourself?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm surviving the fact that my 3 and 2-year-old are off for the week for summer before they go back to pre-K. So it's, that kind of moment. But you are an author and you write in chick lit. So tell me, what was that moment, that you got bitten by the writing bug and you wanted to write and kind of publish your first book and how it's evolved into what it is today?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to tell you that story because that story is it's a pivotal moment in my life, and I think as authors, if you choose to write about some pretty emotional things, typically something big goes on in your life. I got a story and I got to just get it out, and that's exactly what happened. I went through a series of unfortunate events, which led me to hit a rock bottom in my life, like lost the job, lost the house, lost the car, lost the partner, lost this, lost that, lost myself, and kind of making that step into finding myself, I thought, you know what, let's write a story. Let's write about it. Let's figure out where I made mistakes, maybe red flags that I purposely missed, and through writing, I not only kind of came up with this trilogy, which was exciting and adventurous and full of all of the emotions, it helped heal me as well. And it really did bring a lot of new people and new opportunities, new relationships to my life. So therefore, it was like a win, a win, a win, a win on top of a win. So I would do it all over again if I could.
See, I love it. So what made it... okay, I guess let's backpedal. How many books total have you written?
I've written and published 3 books, and it's the Chin Up Tits Out series. So the first book is Remember No Matter What, Chin Up Tits Out. The second one is When All Else Fails, and the last one is Just Breathe, Chin Up Tits Out. So Chin Up Tits Out is kind of that mantra where we stand up tall, we hold our head held high, our shoulders back, and we step into a room and light it up, despite how we may feel on the inside, because we may not feel like that on the inside. Actually, quite frankly, we probably don't feel like that on the inside a lot of the time. So that mantra of to stand up with your chin held high and your chest out, chin up, tits out, is a stance of confidence. Remembering no matter what, to stand confident. When all else fails, stand confident. And every now and then, all you can do is just breathe through it and chin up, tits out, right? So just breathe. So again, there's a lot of emotions in the books, a lot of taboo things that are hard to talk about, that people don't want to talk about, but we talk about them in the books, and hopefully it makes you feel good at the end of the day. That's my goal, is to relate and resonate, or to either make you feel good as a reader that the main character's just totally off her rocker, crazy, but that was definitely my goal, and in writing and in sharing with the world, and to share kind of this trilogy, and open up the door to new stories in the future.
See, I love that. My mom always told me pain is beauty, right? It's like wearing high heels, you cut the back of your ankle and all that, and you're just like, but I look great. I look fabulous, right? And it's kind of the same with you, like stand tall and stand confident, right?
Yeah.
Like put out confidence even though you're like struggling with confidence at times, because I feel like we all do that. So I love it. And I love the name. I love it. I love the name. I'm like, yes, I'm here for it. Oh
Right?
man.
It stands out, and if you're open to it, people see the actual meaning behind it. They're not just seeing the word tits and going, "Oh my god, provocativeness." Like there's moments of provocativeness, and in your 20s when you're trying to figure out who you are, there are going to be moments where there's going to be intimacy and provocativeness and everything in between. So yeah, there is an element of that in the books, but really that message is to stand up and be confident. If you look at a duck on a pond, hi, a duck on a pond looks and seems very calm on the outside, but underneath the water, their feet are going a mile a minute. And I think as a mom, as a woman, as a professional person, as somebody who is trying to strive forward in their life, whatever that looks like, we do tend to feel that way, where we have to keep a calm on the outside and for everybody to look in, but underneath there's a million things, a million thoughts, a million pieces in motion, and that we're trying to just juggle it all together. So hopefully that is relatable enough that kind of it makes you eager to read the books.
Yeah, like in the background when my daughter just came in and you're juggling all of these things, right? I come with a disclaimer, Miranda. Everywhere I go, I come with a disclaimer because now my dogs are in here, so it's just going to be fun.
Okay.
But I feel like, because you mentioned like from like a mom's point of view and those kind of, I feel like all of us need that, because I feel like as women we do juggle a lot of things, and we internalize a lot of like struggles or confidence, that we're lacking and those kind of things because we're juggling so much. So
Yeah.
I love that. So how long did it take you to write your first book and kind of put it out? What was that journey like for you?
I'm not gonna lie, my first book was just like, girl, you need to, excuse me, but barf this book out and get it out. Like, it was
Yeah.
just I need to get it out, and that was exactly what I did. I think I wrote the meat and potatoes of the book in like a month. From the time that I started to the time that I had the launch party, um, was well under a year. And then I
Nice.
rapid fired and I spit out the second book and had a party 11 months after the first one. And then it was like 3 years until the third one came out. People are like, "What are you doing?" Like, well, first of all, I had to live, and I needed to figure out how to end the story. And because the story was so close to me, there wasn't an ending yet. So I needed to kind of go through some things personally in order to deliver that third book. So we rapid fired out the first two books, which there was lots of learning, lots of lessons, lots of blood, sweat, and tears. And then by the
Yeah.
time the third book came out, it was like the whipping cream and cherry on top of a sundae. Like, it was just a wonderful experience all the way around, and the story mirrored that as well.
So did you self-publish your books? Did you traditionally publish them? What was the avenue that you chose to go down?
So the first two books I went down one avenue. The third book I went down another avenue, and future books I'm gonna go down another avenue. Like I said, there was a lot of learning involved in getting these books out, but I did essentially self-publish them. So my first two books I went with a local publishing house that basically allows you to publish it yourself, but they have a team of people. So they have the editors, the interior designers, the book cover, the website designer, the promoter, the this, the that, and it's all in like one pretty package. So I'm not going to outsource everybody. So I did that
Yeah.
with the first two books. And then the third book, it was a smaller publishing house outside California somewhere. I'm not too entirely sure. I think in Los Angeles. It doesn't really matter. They were in California somewhere. Smaller publishing house. They then earned the rights on my book for a specific period of time due to our contract, and now I own the rights to it. I actually
Okay.
just did a cover redesign on my third book, and I haven't launched it. So I'm going to go launching all three of the books into like a pretty little box case. I just had babies a few months ago. So my life is slightly chaotic at the moment.
Just a little bit,
Just a
right?
little
Just
bit.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little
I get it. My kids are 13 months apart, literally 13 months and like a week. So I have my oldest was July 8th
bit.
of 2019, and my youngest was August 25th of 2020. So I get it. I understand. I understand your struggle. I still am in a blur, so I
Oh, yeah.
understand.
I don't know what day it is. I don't know, not like nothing. We had our kids are 18, like a year and a half apart. Our daughter was literally a year and a half when she walked into the hospital to meet her brothers. So we went
Nice.
from one kid to three kids in a year. It's absolutely insane. I don't know how we do it, how we stay alive.
Well,
Twin
you keep your
parents are like,
sanity.
yeah, twin parents are like, don't worry. After the first year, like it starts to get easier. I'm like, I don't know how that happens because the twins are walking along furniture and walking along walls, and then our 2-year-old is like, oh my god, you're walking now, so like I can grab you and
Yeah.
walk with you. So we have babies like flying around the house at any given time.
I get it. Yeah. No, I get it.
So, when it comes to writing, people are like, what are you writing next? I'm like, I've been working on a book for like a year, but
Yeah.
brain capacity, like the story is there. Uh, we just need to, I guess, maybe get through this year of newborn stuff. I don't know. I don't know. It's motherhood and familyhood, family expanding is a wild journey. There's nothing that can prepare you for it.
No, and the biggest jump is going from 1 to 2, right? And you went from 1 to 3, so you really were like, I'm just gonna jump as far as I can,
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I make
no,
a
I
joke to
get
say that like we found a buy one get one deal, and there was like just no return on it. it was a great one. Like
it.
don't get me wrong, we wanted three children. I didn't want to be pregnant more than twice, so like our prayers were answered. We did
Yeah,
get exactly what we wanted. It was just it was just a bundle of two, which was phenomenal. We love it. We get stopped everywhere we go. It's fun time.
no, I get it. I understand 100%. The struggle is real, and trying to balance it, right? That's like I have the greatest appreciation for writers and authors that are like parents of little kids, right? Like I am, and like I have a business, and juggling that is a lot, and I know what all goes into writing, so I just live vicariously through you guys. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, no, like I can't do it. But I have so much like admiration, I guess, or appreciation for authors because you guys do. Some work full time jobs, some write full time, some juggle family full time job and writing, and you like squeeze it all in, and you can tell like these amazing stories and beautifully written stories, and like you can tell that your heart and your soul and your passion just comes out in it. So to have all that come pouring out when you're juggling doing three kids and all of those things and like have your story kind of convey and really resonate with a lot of people, I think is one that it should be appreciated because it really is a talent and it's an art form in a sense. And so I love to hear that and to kind of hear you as an author, but kind of what's behind you as an author and your family and your juggling doing all these things, and your books are a personal kind of extension of your life. So I feel like those make the best stories, in my opinion, to be completely honest. So what is next for Miranda O? Which I love your name. Oh, Miranda O. I love that. It's the cutest thing. I'm like, oh, I will never forget that. I love it.
If you
100%.
and if you need help to remember, not that you said you're not going to forget it, but like I am the klutziest person in the world. I will leave a room that I'm in all the time and turn the corner too tightly and like walk into the wall. Like
Yeah.
I will trip up the stairs. Every now and then I'll just be sitting there and swallow air down the wrong tube, so all of a sudden I'm choking. You're like,
Yep.
what are you doing? So I liken it to be like, oh, Miranda. Like,
That's how I read it. I
right?
totally read it like that. What was it? There was that Netflix show, and it was like the Miranda YouTuber, and like someone would say, they'd
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
"Oh, Miranda," and I just read it, and I was like, "Oh, Miranda Oh," like I love, I
That's
loved it. I was like, "This is awesome."
exactly it. So what is actually next is so exciting for me. It's really exciting, and I don't know when it's coming to come out. I keep telling people it's soon, and it really is soon. Like, I'm 60% done writing the meat and potatoes of the book. It's just taking me a little longer because, kids and pregnancy and all that fun stuff. But
Yeah.
it is going to be a 3-part series, and I'm like I said, I'm done 60% of the first book, and the series is going to be called Love My Lady Bits. And
Nice.
so if you have a set of lady bits, or if you love somebody with a set of lady bits, I encourage you to pick up these books. They're synonymous. You can read them out of order. It doesn't matter if you pick up the first one or the third one or whatever. But what I did to prepare for this and the stories that I wrote is I actually interviewed 100 women from around the world.
Wow.
Um, and those women range from 18 to in their 60s. And all of them have one thing in common. They have a condition called endometriosis. Endometriosis affects 1 in 10 women around the world, and it takes 7 to 10 years on average to diagnose. It is one of the most painful conditions around, like equaling broken bones, cancer, all that fun stuff on the pain scale. And it's often misdiagnosed, which leaves women with thinking that they have psychological problems or other issues, digestive issues, allergies, when it all results out of endometriosis. Now, there's no cause to this, there's no treatment to it. It's just like, oh, there you go. That's why you are suffering. Infertility is a huge thing. Now, I was diagnosed with endometriosis back in 2019. I suffered with it for just a couple of years. So I got a diagnosis really quickly, but uh, I went from being 100 to being negative 100 within the span of a month. Like running marathons to bedridden in the span of a month. And then was bedridden for over a year trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And in that year and a bit, I met dozens of helpful, resilient, strong, brilliant women who suffer with endometriosis, who've suffered for decades with endometriosis. And I'm like, I know what I want to write, but how do I write it? If my story was only a year and a bit and people are suffering for decades, how do I write a story that does it justice? So that was why I embarked on the 100 women that range over 6 decades. I want to hear their stories. I want to know who they are. I want to know the stuff that they went through, the good, the bad, the ugly, the dark, the stuff that nobody ever wants to say out loud. I want to put it on paper. So, out of those 100 interviews, I created a series of characters with characteristics and timelines and events that were all drawn from real people's lives. And I created these characters and wrote their stories in hopes to bridge the gap between what the heck is endometriosis to
Yeah.
understanding what it is, and to reduce the taboo of talking about lady bits. I mean, these bits bring humans into this world, and we hush hush about it. We don't want to talk about our periods because it's gross, but we should. It's a natural, beautiful thing. But on the flip side, millions of women suffer with it every single month. So let's talk about what that suffering looks like and make it less awkward. So that is something that's very close to my heart, which is exciting for me. I can't wait till I can get it out, but that's what I'm working on, and I'm thrilled to celebrate as high and as loud as I can when I get it out. I just don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah. It's coming. It's 60% there.
Yeah,
It's
60%
coming.
there, right?
Yeah. I love that though, because it is, like it's definitely one of those taboo things that people don't want to talk about, on top of like mental health. Like, that's a subject that people don't want to talk about, and it's taboo. You suffer from it, they don't want to talk about it. To women having endometriosis, what does that look like? The span that it goes to 7 to 10 years undiagnosed, those things, and like the things that women go through, like you said, like our lady bits do produce children, humans. Yeah. So to me, I've always found that women are, to me, always the most strongest, because I don't believe that men could go through childbirth pain. Like,
no.
No, I just, no. Like, so I love that. And I love that you write things that are like personal and near and dear to you. But the fact that you interviewed 100 women, in the 6 decades kind of span of their age, I think is amazing, because it shows like your passion and turning that into a story and those characters and feeding into it. You really do write about things that are home for you. And I love that. And so if people want to stay up to date on your journey for this book or check out your other books, how can people find you and get some information? Oh, right. Miranda
Oh. Miranda Oh. You'll best find everything that I do on there. My website is available. It will link you to my existing books, but you could also just search them on Amazon. But honestly, my Instagram is like the only thing that I have time to keep up to date right now, and I'm shamed to say it, but it is what it is. Yeah, everything is on there. I always, whenever I do get a chance to write, I always put like little tidbits up there. If I feel like I write a banger of some sort, then every now and then you'll get me like reading off a piece of paper going like, isn't this funny? Or does this make me want to cry? I don't know, whatever the emotion is. But yeah, it's definitely a place where you see that I'm most present.
I love it. Well, Miranda, this has been such a fun conversation. I'm so glad that Greg missed it today. He always leaves me the best people. Like, to be completely honest, every time I filled in for him, it's been amazing people. So I'm so glad that Greg wasn't here today and I got to talk to you and have this conversation and get to know you a little bit more. So thanks for taking time out of your busy day from your twins and your kids and your writing to come and talk with me. I deeply appreciate it. It's been so much fun.
Thank you for having me. I also deeply appreciate the time and the opportunity to talk about something that I'm very passionate about. Even though I don't get to spend a lot of time on it, it's kind of like my firstborn child, my writing. So it'll always be dear to my heart.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, I will be back with another conversation at noon Central. But until then, bye for now, everybody.